just love Monday mornings with all the energy right in your head and you're raring to go for a brand new business week. In particular, for those who had Friday as a public holiday here in Nigeria. So all businesses are open today, including the financial markets here in Lagos, Nigeria's economic epicenter. And that's where Channels Television really is located. And wherever you're watching us on planet Earth, this is your Business Morning live from here. I am Bosun Omofaye. Let's get the show started. A very definitive 1 hour of a lot on our table. Nigeria's manufacturing PMI, what you call the Purchasing Managers Index from FBN Quest, backslides to 60.1, reading from 64.8 in the month of October. This is the result of a survey, a very simple exercise that is conducted to gauge what you call the temperature of the manufacturing or the industrial sector, taking a survey of both big and small industries in Nigeria. According to this economic report, the index was lower but still healthy. Quote unquote, that's how FBN Quest put it, despite the decline across all sub-indices as manufacturers' output drops across all sizes of companies, but more pronounced in large firms. Despite the numbers, but of course, very quickly, the output, let's read that to you very quickly. Output, there are 5 sub-indices within the FBN Quest PMI. The first was output. That was down to 63 from 76.5 reading in October. Employment was down to 53.5 from 59.5. The new orders fall back from 64 to 62.5. Suppliers delivery falls to 59 from 65, and stocks of purchases at 62 versus 67 reading in October. The data from FBN Quest varies slightly with that of Central Bank, which was released on Friday, which shows Nigeria's PMI at 55.9, pointing to an expansion in that sector for the 8th consecutive month. Despite the weak PMI, the FBN Quest says they see Nigeria's 4th quarter GDP of 1.9% growth year on year by the end of December. Remember, we grew about 1.5 in 3rd quarter. Now, FBN Quest says Nigeria's GDP will grow 1.9%, nearly 2% on a year-on-year basis in Q4. And that Q4, counting, we have less than 30 days to the end of that. Other one big story that's still in the news since last week, Thursday, was that the suspended Director General of the Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission, Bonero Guazo, is suspected to appear before the ICPC today for investigative interview following Wednesday's November 28th suspension of Guazo by the finance minister on allegations of financial impropriety against him. The head of the legal department of the SEC was also removed, as well as the head of media. That's as far as Guazo's suspension and what comes next is concerned. Meantime, over the weekend, the Securities Commission issued a statement, a first formal statement, formally announcing Abdul Zubair is now formally confirmed as the new acting chief of Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission. Zubair has over 25 years in Nigeria's financial services industry, a former director at Intercity PLC, and, of course, a group managing director of the Niger State Trust Fund and NST Finance Limited. He's also a fellow of the Institute of Corporate Administrators and Marketing Academy of Nigeria, is a certified commodity broker and a certified member of the Pension Institute of Nigeria. The statement went on to say a few things about the recent developments, and that's what you see there. Says recent developments will not be allowed to disrupt the regulatory effectiveness and efficiency of the Commission and the smooth running of the market. The statement went on to say that at no point will the management of the Securities and Exchange Commission allow the operational independence of the Commission to be compromised in line with the IOSCO principles. IOSCO is the International Organization of Securities Commissions, and those principles, Nigeria was the signatory. Nigeria also currently holds the chairmanship of AMAC, that's the Africa and Middle East Regulatory branch of IOSCO, which Muniru Gwarzo was the chair, and that position will now fall on Abdul Zubair, the new acting chief at the Securities Commission. The press statement also adds that the Commission will proceed with all regulatory matters currently before it with all sense of objectivity and fairness, with the best interests of investors at the core of all considerations. End of quote. So you got that there, and we'll see how the markets will start reacting to Abdul Zubair's tenure, which starts right now, and we're counting. Let's go to our business calendar for this week. What do we have, really? The big story this week, of course, everyone's looking at the budget 2018. Buhari's administration planned to have a brand new budget by the 1st of January 2018. Today is the 4th of December. That budget has taken off from the executive when the president presented it to the National Assembly. We now have 4 weeks, technically, to have the deliberations front and back, and then we have a new budget in place, perhaps by 1st of January. But what's the story? The National Assembly last week decided to suspend the deliberations because of the OPEC meeting going on. That was last week, Friday. But we went on holiday at the end of business on Thursday. So the OPEC decision was on Friday to peg Nigeria's oil output at 1.8 million barrels per day to the end of 2018, throwing Nigeria's fiscal plan of 2.3 million barrels per day under the bus. You know what that means? When you throw something under the bus, then the bus climbs over it. Then it's not as good, as nice, or as it used to be. So that's the key discussion today. Part of it here on the program, to look at how much spanner did OPEC last Friday's decision through into the plan by Nigeria to produce 2.3 million barrels per day, and what are the key issues before the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the NNPC, the government, the IOCs, and the LOCs. We've got the energy expert discussing that with us in a couple of minutes here on the program. Last Thursday, you've heard the Senate concluded the debate on